Welcome back, guys. My name is Brent, and I am the Fallible Man. And men should be dangerous in every single way, guys. Now, danger has very little to do with actual violence. It's often confused with the idea of violence. I would never advocate for men to be violent unless there's no other option to protect those that you are responsible for and responsible to. Those situations are thankfully far and few between these days, and a lot of men, and thankfully most men these days, manage to get their whole life without having to be in one of those common moments. But the world is a dangerous place, and in many ways, unless you're dangerous too, you're going to get eaten alive out there. The idea of the warrior mindset has been done to death. I mean, it is really inaccurate anyway, but it's just been done to death. And that's not what I'm talking about necessarily. I know a lot of guys like to talk about that. I've seen that just done over and over again. In the military, when I was in the Air Force, we had a mantra that we recited in group training. And I mean, it was drummed into our head over and over. We probably said it 100 times a day or more. And it was, the strong survive, the weak will fall by the wayside. Because the idea was to become unbreakable. If we conditioned long and hard so that no matter what we endured, we could withstand it, then we would be unbreakable. It was still bearable, even in the worst of situations, because they just pounded us so hard at the onset. They made us physically and emotionally and mentally exhausted, tired, hungry. And some people would have thought maybe that was a little brutal, but in reality, it made us unbreakable. There was a story about the class ahead of me, and they liked to get in trouble on purpose. Their goal was to get smoked. If you don't know what smoked means in the military, smoked means that you got punished for being stupid, basically. Their idea was they got smoked so often on purpose, they would even go spend their Saturdays on the PT field as a group, just trying to make themselves so resilient, so tough, that no matter what was thrown at them, the instructors couldn't break them. They actually finally challenged the instructors. I was there back at the detachment that day. They went out to PT at like 6 a.m. At 12:30, they sent someone back to the detachment to get MREs because they were still at the PT field. As I understand it, they went through our full cycle of PT, including the 6-mile run, 8 times that day. The instructors were cycling in and out, taking turns smoking them because they just couldn't break them. And guys, that's the kind of resilience you got to build. That's the kind of dangerous you got to be. No matter what they throw at you, you're just unbreakable. I have a training philosophy when I'm training for obstacle course racing, and if this isn't your first podcast with me, then you probably are aware that I'm involved in obstacle course events. I don't do them very well. I don't do them very fast. I suck at running, but I love the obstacles themselves. And so I train with that same philosophy. I train harder and heavier at the gym than anything I'm going to face on the course because I don't like the cardio. I don't like to run. Probably the one thing I really should focus on working on is the one I don't want to do. Pretty common, right? Everybody does that. But I lift heavier and I put myself through more brutal workouts than anything they're going to throw at me on the field. And the concept is, yeah, I'm not going to have to do anything that heavy on the course, but I do it so when I'm face to face with it and I'm exhausted from the distance and I'm cold and I'm wet and I'm beat up, the obstacles in front of me are minuscule, no matter how they're designed to be, because I do stuff so much heavier, stronger, worse, that even in a fatigued state, I'm still functional. And that's my training philosophy. What's happening, guys? My name is Brent, and I am the Fallible Man. This has been a clip from one of our podcasts. Hey, if you enjoyed the clip, Go over to our YouTube channel and check out the full video podcast available exclusively on YouTube. And if you're more of an audio guy, hey, our podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and I think pretty much everywhere else you want to listen. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I hope you enjoyed the clip.